trekking, river crossing, packing, flying, all to release the animals to freedom.
Did not know it's gonna be this tiring.
And it all starts in this lab. These are Formosian landlocked cherry salmon, an endangered species of fish on the IUCN Red List. Our mission? To safely escort these salmon from this lab to their natural habitat. Are you guys excited? Tomorrow you're gonna be free! Free! Now we all love a great wildlife release story. The animals are endangered, we raise them, we let them go. Wholesome, but why all that effort? Why do we need a helicopter? There's literally a river right next to the lab. Can't we just dump them there? This is the upper basin of the Dajia River, once populated with cherry salmon. But throughout the 20th century, their population had been wiped out to near extinction. And for the past 30 years, Shei-Pa National Park has been working on a goal to breed, release, and repopulate the salmon in locations where they were once historically recorded. This is Liao Lingyan Zhuren, head of our salmon conservation program. He and his team make sure that every reintroduced population has a real chance of becoming self-sustaining, which means they can produce next generations without needing more human-raised salmon from a breeding facility.
So what kind of habitat are we looking for?
比如溪流怎么去选择，就是要有深潭，要有急赖，然后要有缓流，等于说要它一辈子都能够生活的环境都要有，它才有办法健康自我的繁衍。
Now, if you look at this very simplified animation, you can see that once a weir is broken, the sediments have been washed away, revealing rocks and deeper waters, which fortunately for us makes a suitable habitat for our salmon. Now let's go to Sijianlanxi. You can see from the satellite image that if you scroll all the way back to the year 2000, you can see there is a weir and here is a second weir. But if you scroll back to the present day, you'll realize that they're gone. They're broken. It's our perfect opportunity. And so with our best real estate agent impressions, we head upstream and upstream and even further upstream to find them a perfect home. This is really no man's land. What we are looking for is a habitat suitable for salmon to be self-sustainable. So here we can see that is the kitchen area where little insects and little bugs will be swashed down and they can have their feast. This is the bedroom area where the water is very calm. And over that area, it's very shallow and that's their nursery where they can have their young. We've been walking seemingly forever and we just realized that we only did like a fifth of the entire journey. So. Last 160 meters. We're almost there. Different from us, the Formosian landlocked cherry salmon don't usually travel further than 1 kilometer. So where we release them will ultimately be their permanent home. And after 5 hours of trekking through this river valley, this is where the salmon will be dropped off tomorrow. We have finally arrived at the right destination in Rainy-Capped Valley. So basically, here's the plan. Since it is not the best idea to carry fish in a backpack on a 5-hour-long river trek like what we just went through, we will instead load the salmon into a box, hook the box onto a helicopter and pilot the helicopter to this very location. It takes only 20 minutes and a lot less carrying. But since the helicopter will only be hovering and not actually landing, half of our team will need to camp here overnight to receive the package early in the morning. The other half of the team will head back to the lab to start packing the fish. Sounds like a perfect plan. What could go wrong? "5:30 a.m. release day. So this is my job, getting the water full. Fish delivery today. We're very jumpy. So the thing is, we need to get 8 buckets of these, each with 30 fish, 240 fish in total. Let's go. I got some fish water in my mouth. Well, carrying water is the only thing I'm qualified to do. The actual professionals pump ice and oxygen into the bags. These critically endangered fish will be inside those bags for at least 40 long minutes, so these life-sustaining details matter. We've also purposely starved these 240 fish for 3 whole days so that they will poop during the transit and contaminate the entire bag with ammonium nitrogen.
Uber Eats, first sashimi to go.
Just kidding. After a quick drive up to the helicopter landing ground, we are now carefully loading the bags into the crates and clipping them onto the sling attached to the helicopter. This is the first time that the team has ever recruited the helicopter, and everybody is laser focused because we need the transport to be as smooth as possible for the fish. Here we go! Right, there he goes, lift up! Woo!
That was awesome. There goes our baby salmons. Safe flight, live long and prosper. Godspeed.
国家公园其实不是大家讲的啊，你每年花很多钱在放流，其实没有，我们花的钱很少，而且放流都在不同的区域，都是找新的栖息地。我们放流基本上在同一条溪流，只要放流2次，会成功就会成功，不会成功就不会继续再去执着在那个地方。只要能够顺利度过7月、8月的台风，在繁殖季节的时候，它能够顺利的繁衍，这样子其实就会成功的。
Now to answer the initial question, why all that effort? Can't we just dump them in the nearest river? Wildlife reintroduction isn't just a simple open up a cage, or in our case, a bucket, and set them free. It takes perhaps months or even years of research to ensure that this release is both good for the organisms involved and for that ecosystem. I'm really grateful that the salmon conservation team let us follow them and film their whole entire release process. I am just the YouTuber here who can barely cross rivers and carry buckets of water. They are the true heroes here. It truly takes a whole team for this to happen. And with all that said, how did the salmon become endangered in the first place? Why are they so important to us? And how do the researchers breed salmon in a lab? Click on this video to find out. Oh, and subscribe for more wildlife expeditions.